Hello, I am live on my very first live. This is Bitcoin on the weekly chart. As you could see, I have these two levels laid out right here. I don't think it's gonna come all the way up to here, to be honest. I really don't think we're going to get past the 61.8. This is the level, which is 35,100. This is the level that I'm still pretty bullish to think that we're gonna hit here before falling all the way back down to maybe 25 or 20 or even below, who knows. But what I'm looking at right now is, very obvious uptrend on the weekly time frame. So on the weekly time frame, we are moving up. We had the low, put the low in, made a high, a higher low, and a higher high, and now this whole area right here is the bullish order block on the weekly time frame. It's basically the down move before the up move that broke the market structure right here. I would believe that we would come down into this area on the weekly time frame around 25,000, pretty much 25k, before moving up. It's either going to be like this top right here, or it's going to be the 61.8. Obviously, if you know me, you know I love the Fibonacci, which is why I think the 61.8 from this entire move, this top to this bottom, 61.8, boom. That's what I'm looking for. Also, there is this Fibonacci from this bottom to the top right there. So let me take it from the actual all the way to the top. So yeah, that's what this is. This is all the way from the top, all the way to the bottom. 38.2 is right here. So $35,700. And from this top to this bottom, it's the 61.8. It's the same exact level. So we have two different confluences, two different areas on the charts that are combining the two different major fib levels, right? Two major fib ranges. So that's why I think that the price is, it's almost like a magnet just moving towards here, because the Fibonacci is everywhere in the universe and it just draws the price towards it, right? So I really like this, not to mention it's, support area, support turns into resistance, yada, 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 et cetera, et cetera. Plus people would get really, really excited up here thinking that oh, we flipped bullish and we're going to new all-time highs, right here, 30K. I don't think we had enough people really flipping bullish, thinking we're gonna go to all-time highs. I think up here is where people would really do it, which is why I think we're gonna go back up. But with saying that, there is a big issue. There's a big issue, and that is if we go to this chart that I laid out here and we see that this was a really important range back in May and June of 2022. This is the bottom, this is the top, et cetera, right? So this was the support, major support. And what happened is we came up to the major support, tagged it, went above it, went back below it, and then we went back above it for 2 seconds, and then now boom, we started to drop back below it. So personally, I think that this is the area that I said we should not go back and stay under here. If we went back when we were up here, I said if we fall back below this line, this support area, or previous resistance turning to support, then that's going to be really bad. And that actually set me up for this short that we took. So I actually took my profits for my short somewhere over here, and I'll probably re-short somewhere over here. But yeah, I don't like how the 28,700 area, this previous resistance, how we've fallen underneath of it. So this is actually a really big resistance. But what I'm planning on doing is, well, first off, let's look at the daily. Look at the daily. Look at this. This is lower than this, and yet this is higher than this. So we do have a bullish divergence in the MACD on the daily. That's pretty good. We have the stochastic RSI moving up. We also have the RSI creating a higher low. So, not too shabby, to be honest. Not too shabby for the indicators, which is pretty good. And we have the price pretty much creating this huge wick down here, followed by a couple days up, which is also pretty good. So it's staying above this level, this whole support, this huge support zone. And this is actually, it fell, it wicked down below this huge support, all of these wicks. It has swing failure pattern underneath this previous wick, and then it closed back above it, and now it's moving up. So what I'm planning on doing for Bitcoin is to ride this up. And what I'm thinking is this right here was the first 12-hour bearish order block, right? Why is that? It's because this was the up move before the down move that ended up breaking the market structure right here. And when that happened, that's when we, fell below these major support levels. But then we sort of like I just mentioned, we SFP'd these support levels, right? And now we're back above it, which is really, really good. So I like it. Then, not only that, what happened? We had this move right here. So we came up and then we came down and then we went up again. So this right here could technically be a 12-hour bullish order block. And now we're in the 12-hour bullish order block and we should move up from here. The other thing that is bearish, the bearish side of this, is that this is the bearish order block right here. We came into it, tagged it once, had the SFP right here, and then we fell back down. But I think that the broader context of this falling underneath here and then reclaiming it is better. Let me do this right here. Just draw this out. Boom. Yeah, so like all of this huge area of resistance, right? Like this right here, plus it closed. That would have freaked me out a long time ago before like I knew any better. And this probably freaked a lot of people out. So a bunch of people probably sold here and then boom, now we're moving back. So my game plan is to come back up here. I longed down here, right? I closed out my short and then I longed. If we fall back underneath this right here, this Monday's low, the weekly open, and this order block, this bullish order block, if we fall back below here first and we close, so if this goes like this and then closes like this, then exit my longs, okay, and then target down here, right? But since hasn't done that yet, I'm still under the assumption that it's going like this and it'll come up. Okay, so this right here was tagged. What you could do is if it closes above here, if it closes above this wick right here, you can long it, and you could long it, and honestly, you could long it and target. You could literally target 30K from here to here, right? You can do that. One issue though, that's really a concern for me is the 61.8. If you take the fib from this range, this top to this bottom, it goes 1, 2, 3, so A, B, C, down. This is the range, right? And you could see that the fib, the 61.8, is right here, which lines up with this top, which also lines up with this whole resistance area. Well, that didn't work out, but there you go. This whole resistance area over here, that's such a bad drawing, is where the 61 is. Plus, we should not go back below and stay under this line. So this is pretty freaking heavy resistance to me. And what I'm expecting is the price to come up here, come up to 28,000, and then maybe like do this, and then come up with a wick, come back down, and then fall down, and then fall back to this weekly order block down here, this weekly bullish order block. So I'm going to remain in my long up until this happens. I think I would wait until it either comes up here. Yeah, I'll either wait until it comes up here, or if this happened, most likely it will end up, coming back down. But I'll just hold my longs until there is a market structure shift to the downside. And if we close down below here, then I'll close out my longs. But yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty confident that we come up here. Maybe we don't though. We might not. And if you want to go down to the 1 hour chart and play Monday's high and see if we do a move up and have a move immediately back down and we have that swing failure of this high, that is a possible shorting opportunity. I'm just not going to really deal with that. That's not what I'm planning on doing. So my target, so I'm long, my target is 28,200, and we'll probably go up to 28,400 and then slam back down. That is what I am thinking for Bitcoin. So Ethereum is also looking like pretty much the same exact thing as Bitcoin, right? Let's go to the weekly, right? So on the weekly time frame of Ethereum. This was the low, this was the high, this was the low, this was the high. So now, are we going to make a higher low somewhere around here and then move up? That's possible. That's sort of what I'm thinking. And if we go to the 12-hour, what do we see here? Well, we see that we're in the weekly bullish order block and we are moving up, down, up. So we had a bullish market structure break up and then we are coming back down into an area too long. So I'm still long. So we had this is basically the range right here, the fib from the top to the bottom. The 61.8 is 1900 and $1,912 to be exact. And that also actually lines up with this level right here. This was a bearish order block and it did get tagged on this wick, which is really, really good. So I'm thinking that just like Bitcoin, I think we move up a little bit from here before tanking back down. I think the same thing is going to happen. We have the 61.8 right here, but we also have the 50% right here. So for Bitcoin, I like the 61.8, but for Ethereum, the 50% is actually where I think it's probably going to SFP. So plus it's the previous week high and everything like that. So I'm looking for the SFP up here at the previous week's high, 1900. And in case you don't know what an SFP is, it's a swing failure pattern. So let me see if I could find one. I guess you could say that this right here was a swing failure pattern. No, let me look for like a good example. This is a great example right here. So we have this right here, right? This was this, whoa. Okay, boom. This was the swing high, right? And then it came down and then it popped back above it, but then fell back below it. It closed below the previous, swing high, right? So that's a swing failure pattern. It should have closed above this high, but it didn't. It closed below it. And then that really was the catalyst to go short. Like as soon as it closed underneath here, that could have been a catalyst, unless you're using simply the actual closes instead of the wicks, which sometimes I do use the closes instead of the wicks. And then in that case, this actually closed above the previous close. So then you wouldn't. But as soon as this fell back down below here, that could have been another catalyst for it. But what really would have been the catalyst was this right here. So this one is great because this is a close. This was a wick and this is a body candle close. So this is what I'm talking about. This right here was the body candle high. And if we zoom in, whoa, let me do that. Boom. Yeah. If we zoom in here, you could see that, there you go. This makes more sense. This candle wicked above the close and then fell back below it and actually closed below the close of the previous swing high. So that's another swing failure pattern of the close. Or of course, this one right here was the swing failure pattern of the high. You could use either or depending on the situation. In this situation, I'd use the wick because the wick is so close to the body. But if the wick is like super far away, then like maybe I'd use the body. Maybe I'd just use the body. Either way, whatever, that triggered a short and then you shorted, and now, or hopefully, or sold or something, right? And then we had the move back up into this fair value gap right here. And then we, closed back pretty bearish and fell a little bit down. So taking the fib from this range, 61.8 is here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for a swing failure pattern right here. And if this happens, then I will short it and I will target down here at the basically 1700 area. Or if we end up actually closing back down underneath the Monday's low, then that would be pretty bad, to be honest. And I'd probably just get out of my longs in that situation and just like wait, because then it would be, like everyone, I don't know if everyone's saying this, but actually I was going to say there was a head and shoulders, but this is not a head and shoulders. This is just like, lower highs and lower lows. Driving to work and tuned in. I like your content. Yeah, early morning here in Stockholm. Now that's Ethereum. Same thing as Bitcoin. We're in the bearish order. We came into the bearish order block, and let's go 12-hour. We came into this bearish order block right here, just like we did in Bitcoin, and we came back down, and now we're in the bullish order block. So we're probably, I'm bullish. I think we're gonna go up to at least 1880. But if we get the SFP, that's gonna be pretty bearish, and then I'll come down. Oh yeah, I forgot to look at the actual indicators. Oh, whoa, look at this indicator. Boom. Look at oh my God, this is bullish on the MACD. This is what I love to see. Downward on the price action, except and upward on the MACD histogram with this little thing in the, so a lot of people think that like there's what do you call it, divergences when there's not, like technically, from what I've learned at least. But this is an actual divergence. This right here is an actual divergence. So this right here, what you need to have that little bit above. It needs to go above the 0 line and then come back down, or it needs to go below the 0 line and then come back up. But yeah, so this is an actual divergence. So that's it. That's pretty good. You got the divergence on the daily. You got the pretty solid swing failure pattern and bullish candle. It's not a hammer per se, but it's a pretty nice looking candle, bullish candle right here, and in the weekly bullish order block. So yeah, I'm bullish. I'm still bullish. I'm gonna keep my longs open. I'm not gonna short right now, and I already closed my shorts, like I mentioned. And let's look at the RSI. The RSI, it's moving up. The stochastic is moving up as well. So not too bad. We'll see if it closes underneath this, 1780. If it closes underneath here, then I'll probably get out because, it's not looking good. Close under here. Oops. Here and get out. All right. So that's Ethereum. So we got Bitcoin and we got Ethereum. Stocks, S&P 500. Of course, you gotta have the S&P 500 in here, right? So we got the S&P 500, huge resistance area that we Kimbug tagged, boom, fell, tagged, boom, fell, tagged, boom, fell, tagged, fell a little bit, but not too shabby because we're staying right underneath of it. So what do we say when we, what happens when we consolidate under resistance? Well, sometimes it pumps up. Usually it's a good sign, but I don't know. I've been tricked so many times with this that like I'd rather just I used to think that consolidation under resistance, that's really, really good. And I guess technically it is, but sometimes I see it consolidate under resistance, and that's just to get people hyped up, just so that the market makers have people to sell it to, and then they dump it hard. So I'm a little bit more hesitant at this point in a bear market. If we're in a bull market though, boom, I'm buying if this is the case. But if this happens during a bear market, which is what we're in, then or during, I guess I want to say during bearish circumstances, then yeah, I'm not too fond of buying it. So if we can close back above here and hold up above this level, 4,200, boom, I am so freaking bullish if we could close above 4,200 on the S&P 500, right? And if we could do that, I mean, damn, target 4,600, or take the fib from the top to the bottom and target 4,300. I would target 4,300, which would be a 3% move, and potentially 4,500, to be honest. Most likely 4,500, because this would be really bullish. However, what I'm thinking is probably going to happen is we're going to come up here and then we're going to fall back underneath here. And if we do that, then that's going to be super bearish. And then we're just going to target the low. So let me just write that out. Let me just do this. I think that this is what's going to happen, to be honest. And that's not going to be good, because I just went to a big meeting, a big hedge fund convention. It was like 3 days. Some of the biggest hedge funds in the world were there, and they were all talking. And there's a lot of people that are still in cash, and a lot of uncertainty in the markets, and no one knows what's going to happen. Most people are still in cash, and things are still just overbought in general. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Thank you for tuning in to my first live stream ever, especially using this new software. I will talk to y'all later. Peace out.